Sadaka Snout, an easy-peasy person from easy-peasy island in the middle of the terrific ocean, by Roger Hargreaves and Gray Joliffe. I'm pretty sure you know who Sadaka Snout is, don't you? You don't? Well, that's a first. Anyway, Sadaka Snout is an easy-peasy warthog. Where does he live? I will tell you. In a house by the waterhole, under a baobab tree. And this house is called Tusk Cottage. And where is Tusk Cottage located? Why, in the easy-peasy Serengeti, of course. And that's on easy-peasy island, in the middle of the terrific ocean. I bet you didn't know this, but warthogs are known for their distinctive faces. Sadaka pretty much has one, but he doesn't care. He knows it makes him stand out well. His friends Serge Search, the easy-peasy meerkat, and Maliki Main, the easy-peasy lion cub, never tease him about it. But other easy-peasy people aren't so sure. He needs to fit in like the rest of us, they grumble. But Sadaka would brush it off and say, well, I like how my face looks, so yeah, Hakuna Matata. The others just went off grumbling, thinking how they could get Sadaka to brush himself up. But of course, no one could think of anything. Our story begins with Sadaka and his friends Serge and Maliki sitting under the baobab tree eating insects with crispy shells. Now this is the life, eh boys? He said. Exactly so, agreed Serge.
Couldn't be better, replied Maliki. And I never thought these insects had such a very good quality of flavour to them.
While they ate, who should come along but Linda Laugh, giggling like as if she'd be tickled by Terry Tentacle, the easy-peasy octopus.
Hey there, Sadaka!
She said, trying to stay for her giggles.
Do you know why warthogs have big face?
No, why? asked Sadaka with his mouth full of beetle shell.
Because they hug everything. Ha!
Laughed Linda. Serge stood up and said,
I don't know what's so funny about my friend's face, but I'm used to seeing him hog insects.
Same here,
added Maliki.
You can't say that to our friend and get away with it.
Leave her alone, you two, Sadaka butted in. I have no problems with my face. Besides, he added, Linda has short legs and she thinks they're amusing, right, Linda?
Linda looked nervously around.
Yeah.
She said unnervingly. And then she added,
Well, gotta go! Ha ha!
And she zoomed off.
Well, that was something,
said Serge Search and went back to eating more insects. Just as he was tucking into an orange shell beetle, who should come plodding by but Yakov Yawn, the easy-peasy hippopotamus.
Greetings, everyone, he said. What are you all up to? We're just eating insects, replied Sadaka Snout. Care to join us? No, thank you, replied Yakov. I'm off to the mud pool for a mud bath.
Then he caught sight of Sadaka's wedge-shaped face and big nose.
You seem to be enjoying yourself, he observed. If one could see how much you're hugging those bugs, they tell you to share them.
Maliki Main stood up and looked at Yakov and said,
I can't believe you just said that to my friend.
Leave him alone, Maliki, replied Sadaka. I may have a big face, but he has a big gut, and I see nothing wrong with that.
Yakov plodded off grumbling. It was then an unfamiliar face walked up to them. He greeted himself politely.
Why, hello there. I'm known as Quentin Quill, the easy-peasy porcupine. And may I say, that is the finest collection of insects ever. May I sample some?
Certainly, replied Sadaka. There's plenty for all of us.
Many thanks indeed, dear warthog, said Quentin. It's not every day I meet familiar faces.
Maliki Main and Serge Search eyed the newcomer suspiciously. They thought he was going to put the insects on his quills and act as if they were cocktail sausages. But Quentin didn't. He was very well behaved, Soon he and Sadaka were chatting happily away like old friends should. As they got to know each other, Quentin asked Sadaka,
Pardon me, I'm not the one to mention this, but why do you seem to brush off other people's remarks, dear Sadaka?
Sadaka smiled and said,
Oh, I don't let my looks get the better of me. I just let people's thoughts about me slide out of my mind. A bit like how water slides off a dog's back.
Quentin pictured Queen Quack caught in the rain.
Oh, like that?
He asked.
Well, maybe not like that,
Replied Sadaka.
Get that dream out of my face!
It was then that Maliki Main said,
By the way, Quentin, how come you're not like all the other easy peasy people who are constantly bothered about Sadaka's looks? Because I'm not quick to judge, replied Quentin. My parents raised me to be an upstanding easy peasy islander.
What a breath of fresh air, said Serge. Some people don't know how to accept others. Shows what they know, Serge, agreed Sadaka. They don't know how good they have it, yet they take out their frustrations on other people's looks and behaviors. I wouldn't want to be in their position. It must be awful.
Then Sadaka stood up, but he was so full of insects he nearly tilted over. And then he ended up tripping over his own feet and he landed face first into Quentin Quill's quills.
Ouch!
He wailed.
Quick, Maliki, let's free him!
Exclaimed Serge. And both he and Maliki managed to free him from Quentin's pointy quills. It took a while to remove the quills from Sadaka's face, but when they were removed, Sadaka went up to the waterhole to cleanse his face. And when he saw his reflection in the water, he nearly fell over backwards in surprise.
What on earth? My face looks all bumpy and lumpy, he exclaimed.
I do feel sorry about getting in your way, apologized Quentin. I feel like I'm a burden. Well, actually, it's my quills that are the burden.
Serge and Maliki glared at Quentin fiercely. They couldn't put their trust in him after what he had done to their friend. But then they heard Sadaka chuckling, and then giggling, and bursting into fits of laughter.
I look like a bunch of red grapes!
laughed Sadaka. And when Serge and Maliki saw Snout's bumpy lumpy face, even they had to admit he looked funny. Sadaka made funny faces and silly sounds while shaking his head to and fro. Quentin felt confused.
I don't understand, he said. Why do you find this so amusing?
Well, that's the thing, said Serge. Even if our friend Sadaka got his face stuck in your quills, we still like him. What's at all?